There's another challenge here that I think is interesting. It was originally for Cameron. It is a request to read a poem, but you have a bunch of poems prepared for that.
Right.
So I was thinking maybe, because this is the poem they mentioned specifically is C.T. Salazar's Noah's Nameless Wife Takes Inventory.
I've actually got that.
Really?
Ah! Very good. Do you want me to take over driving?
Sure.
All right.
Unless somebody else wants to read it.
Let's make sure we
That's
get an
your call,
all
man.
clear from engineering before we do any of the bits, because we were having some issues like a couple seconds ago with frame rates and stuff.
Yeah. No, and I mean,
Oh, God, so
But nobody
warm.
in chats is saying there's problems now. So, all right, this is as good a time as any. It's time
Go.
for Poetry Corner.
wait,
Is
where
there any
it?
sort of preface that you would wish to give us for this particular poem, Cameron?
This is just one of my favorites that I've read in the last couple of years.
It's a very good. I brought this up because if you had not had this prepared, I was going to volunteer to read it. So this is fantastic.
Do you want to?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, it has a great meter to it. I was thinking about this a lot this summer, actually, because
Okay.
Okay. Maybe
can
we'll
you
just...
can you read it? Can you read my handwriting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot this summer, and we can talk a bit about it after you've performed it. But yeah, it takes the form of kind of like an inventory, right?
Yeah.
Noah's Nameless Wife takes inventory, and this is
We're going to switch it into servers.
okay.
All right.
So we're going down.
Not all the way down.
Okay.
We're taking a little 5-minute breather.
All right.
Not even 5 minutes. That is.
That's the wrong one.
Oh, sorry. Let's try that again.
Noah's Nameless Wife Takes Inventory by C.T. Salazar. Horse, hart, hyena, heart, swan, spine, silver fish shining in black water, yes. Timber wolf, tooth, yes. Pity the ark with its belly full of glowing tongues. Touch the lion's paw only while it sleeps. The red-tailed hawk with jewels for eyes swallows the field mouse, and the mouse was the only proof the field existed. What else will be forgotten? The hawk will starve. Soon we will starve. Soon the dogs will howl like a god learning the word for light, and nothing will howl back.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a really good poem.
So, yeah, I kind of love that one, which is about living through a discontinuity,
Yes.
but not actually being remembered across it.
Right, because it's Noah's nameless wife.
Yeah,
His wife is
she-
never named.
She survived the deluge. But that's, we don't know who she was, right? Her name was never recorded. And all of these things that don't survive the deluge, right? That don't survive a discontinuity. Like, I thought about it a lot this summer while we were under the heat dome, what it means to survive something, but maybe not all the way.
Yeah, one of my favorite. I always love thinking about geological discontinuities.
Yeah, yeah.
If for Chad, if you're not familiar, a discontinuity is where there is sediment has built up and then it's eroded down to a level, and then new sediment has built up on top of that. So when we're looking at the record, there's just a gap. It's like this is 3 million years old, and then the stuff right above it is 500,000 years old. So there's 250 million years of history that is gone forever. And it's just, I always get this sense of like this tragic feeling when I think about sort of like those type of discontinuities. This like, that's a huge chunk of world history that is just gone.
Yeah.
There might have been fossils of animals in there that we will never know existed.
Yeah, yeah. Like 250 million years is a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like, were the dinosaurs around for that long?
Yes,
Okay.
but like humans haven't been.
No.
No.
Like modern humans are only a few 100,000 years old.
Right, and like it makes you think of like, well, the problem that usually gets cited is the nuclear waste storage problem, right? Like, we have nuclear power plants that generate nuclear waste, and we need somewhere to store it over the lifespan of that waste product. Okay, so what do? Well, you bury it underground, or you build a facility, and then you have to think like, what happens if our society fails?
Yep.
And we have to convince people, whatever comes after us, not to move in to this facility that is well constructed, like geologically stable, maybe fortified, might be like walled off. Like, this is a useful building, right?
Yeah.
If you are a new society, that's kind of like a really cherry find.
yeah. It's a perfect place to build a temple or a castle
Or just live, right?
keep something important in there.
Yeah. And so the problem is like the common formulation is, this is not a place of honor, that you would have signs around it saying like, don't dig here. We were a powerful society where we considered ourselves powerful, and what was in here is bad. Like, we aren't kidding, right? This isn't like we buried a pharaoh here and there's gold and there's a curse. No, this is like, please
This
don't.
is like, please don't. There's nothing good here.
Yeah, and how that fails every time, because we're like, yeah, but what if it's actually awesome?
Yeah, it sounds like something they would write when they wanted to keep people out because it was so valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like there's like all kinds of interesting thoughts. Like, what if you build it in a desert and then you built like a forest of black obelisks around it that were like pretty close together but just absorbed heat during the daytime and basically made it impossible to move through it, and like, oh, that's kind of a clever idea. But, like using death iconography is not consistent because death means different things to different cultures.
Yep.
Like putting up signs in every different language that we can imagine, those just wind up in a museum,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's an incredible archaeological find. You take that. And the no fun answer, because this is really kind of just a thought exercise. But the no fun answer is you ensure the continuity of your society over the lifespan of its waste products, so that you don't have to explain to anyone across a discontinuity, right? You just, you hire new people, right?
That seems optimistic. What if you had a solar-powered robot
I mean, maybe.
that could make other robots, and then you ensure the discontinuity of your society by being replaced by robots who will know
Yes, exactly.
not
right?
to touch the nuclear waste?
Yeah.
But I love the idea of some sort of future society, like descended from whatever, I don't know, let's say turtles take over the world, for lack of a better example, and they're just like, this is the turtle equivalent of the Rosetta Stone for them. But
Right.
it's just place is yucky and bad, right? But
Right.
they can use that to extrapolate out all the other pornography we produced.
Rochelle de Stone?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's lots of examples in history of like languages where, it's like we have a sample of it. We have no idea what it says because we have no basis to begin our translation. And I could see that very easily being like, there's a sign here. What does it say? Oh, let's look inside. See what's there.
There is
maybe,
a reason.
Maybe it tells us what's inside.
There's a reason why the Rosetta Stone was one of that century's biggest finds.
But yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy that it's also, it takes the poem takes the structure of like a list, right? Like, you're literally like, hart, hyena, like there are all these different animals, and it just kind of like,
I don't know. Actually, maybe can you pop it on document cam?
your mind starts racing, right? Like, you know exactly the mood that this is being written in,
Yeah.
where your mind is just like you can't stop thinking about what this all means.
This is somebody who's like trying to focus on their work and like do something like practical and meaningful to their current situation, and is just thinking it's like there's no such thing as a field anymore.
Yeah.
We have all of the remaining animals in the world.
Yeah. Field mouse.
Yeah.
Lol.
Rip.
Let's just scratch that one off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need that one anymore.
This is nice paper you chose, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You wind up buying all like this parallel infrastructure when you start becoming a fountain pen nerd, because like a lot more ink comes out of a fountain pen than does out of a ballpoint pen. So you need paper that's like absorbent.
Yeah.
Right. Because, back when they used fountain pens, paper was thicker and made by hand.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't milled out between machines that, can make it like 1/1000th of a millimeter thick or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. Like the paper needs to absorb, but it also needs to be kind of like tightly woven. Otherwise the ink will like.
Right. Just bleed.
Yeah. It's called feathering.
Oh.
It is one of the banes of art classes in like high school and like Art 101 in university, where you're not buying all the best stuff, but it is a wide distribution of tools that you are trying out to see what sticks, right? It's like I did India ink in high school once, and at the time, it fully did not even occur to me, oh, I can dilute this
Right.
to get grays. So I was just doing black blocks
Huh.
of India ink. And then I looked at a finished product of someone in class that did dilution and a grayscale thing, and it went like, well, for next time, if I'm using India ink again, I'll do it a bit better. And that's the learning process.
Yep.
But that is also the process of like investing in your tools.
That's why I work out.
You're investing in your
Excellent.
tools.
Yep.
I'm a tool.